Good morning once again, everybody. We are going to cover the topic of essentially class warfare. All right. So, in short, there was a video by Economics Explained talking about the crisis and shortage of essential workers. And of course, the question is, why are the essential workers all going away? What it comes down to is this: what a business or organization really is it's a structure, all right? Not in generic format. What it essentially is a confluence of paperwork, payment systems, and funnels, and everything else to create essentially just a glorified funnel to suck up money. The point of, or the whole target of a business really is just to create a funnel to get people to throw their wallets full of cash into the funnel. Okay. The goal of the business or the business owner is to create the funnel, create the structure, and draw, people towards it, whilst the workers themselves are responsible for actually generating the revenue. Okay. Especially considering that the companies that have been screwing around with AI automation have been whining and complaining that it's been neutral at best, negative at worst. I mean, some companies, there are AI driven companies that have been successful, but when you consider the amount of mistakes and mishaps and generally fuck ups that happen with it, it's just too unstable to really necessarily be considered a long term benefit. The primary issue is with the class divide. Really, it comes down to the fact that companies, of course, there's the inherent desire to hoard wealth, especially if you grew up poor, for instance. As soon as you get some money, the last thing you wanted, well, originally at first, you spend a little bit to make up for the fact that you languished in poverty for so long. But then eventually, once you get more comfortable, you tend to hold back a lot of spending and you build your own cash hoard, your own wealth hoard to protect yourself going into the future. Because anybody who's been through rough poverty knows, there's a certain hunger and a certain desperation that never leaves you. It scars you permanently. Anyway, essentially what it comes down to, even though corporations and businesses really do not want to admit this, all right, they want to go back to the days, when they say we can't find good workers and oh my God, nobody's applying to our jobs. It's terrible. Nobody wants to work anymore. The instant response was, yeah, nobody wants to work for you anymore. All the companies were really saying without saying it was they miss their slaves. Okay, that's the reality of it. They miss being able to pay people peanuts and get, first class service for it. All right, the illusions broke fundamentally. And essentially, what we have now, even though we are kind of recessionary, possibly depressionary, we'll see where the economy goes. But fundamentally, it is a fight between employers trying to put out the message that you need us more than we need you, and workers responding with, especially considering the inflation and the loss of the purchasing power, the lower standards of living, the lower quality of just about everything. Workers are saying, no, bud, you need us more than we need you. All right. You're not, and on top of the fact, you have to bear in mind, give me one second. Okay. You have to also bear in mind that for the most part, all of the costs of the changes in modernization, whether it's NAFTA, trade laws, any of that, The student loans going to college, companies got really fucking used to, and you want to talk about entitlement, they got really fucking used to the idea that they could just permanently shift the cost of training a workforce onto the workers themselves. Well, now the issue is not only are the jobs drying up, not only have workers been adapting around the fact that there is no stability, that everything can be automated or offshored under the cover of automation. And because there's no stability, they're not going to college anymore. So you offer them no stability. So why the hell would they go get a degree? You offer them low pay. So how the hell do they repay the cost of the degree? And you offer them shitty circumstances. So why the hell would they even fucking bother in the first place? All right. The reality is, you do need the workers more than the workers need you. Anybody can slap together a structure. The longer that these people sit around unemployed, the number one thing, number one rule, if you want to silence a person and like sideline them, give them a job. Okay, that that's the honest to God truth. If somebody is up and coming and they have great fucking ideas that are going to be incredibly successful, if you want to stop that, give them a job where the pay is a little more than just enough. Give them a job where it's cushy enough that they can forget their ideas. Okay? That's how this works. That's how this works. You offer the workforce absolutely nothing anymore. All right, fundamentally, you offer them shit and expect them to be grateful for it. They're not. They're done. Oh my God, we're gonna run out of essential workers. If they're so essential, maybe you can open your fucking checkbook for once. Okay? I'm tired of this softball bullshit where we all fucking dance around the issue. Given most workers don't dance around the issue, but corporates do all the fucking time. And the reality is, your fucking organizations are going to crash and burn if you keep fucking losing your quality fucking labor, and we're not making any more of it. We're not making any more of it. If you want college trained professionals to fill your fucking roles, get your checkbook out. You're fucking paying for it. All right? You're going to start bearing the fucking costs and the burden. The normal people, the average everyday people, they're not doing it anymore. They don't give a fuck. You don't reward them. You essentially fucking rug pull them. You get them to go into massive amounts of debt, and then you offer them nothing for it. All right? Those days are gone. The days of being able to fuck over the workforces are coming to an end. All right? Your ability to outsource, all right? If you think Big Orange Man is bad and disruptive to your organizational stability, just wait for the people who come next. Big Orange is the beginning of a trend. He was back then, and he still is now. What's coming up is the complete destabilization of your corporate ease. You're not going to be able to outsource when you've got rioting people, and it will be completely devoid of politics. It will be left and right flipping the Congress upside down. All right? It will be the Capitol riots, but from all sides of the political aisle. And they'll take away your ability to offshore jobs to the Philippines and India. They'll kick out your H-1B visa holders. They will end all of your ability to fuck them over. That's what's coming. That's the shift. Now, given on the other side of it, absolutely nothing can happen at all. And we just continue business as usual as the economy slides deeper into a fucking depression. All right, the reality is, even though corporates do not want to acknowledge this, and politicians especially don't want to acknowledge this, long term, the only thing that is going to save these countries, these Western countries, is redevelopment of the labor class. All right, the labor forces, they're the only people who can stop you from running the economy into a fucking depression. This is the reality. Labor has eaten the shit sandwich for multiple decades. All right. And the consequences are you have an economy that's so lopsided that now it has completely shifted into the K shaped economy that's split. At a certain point, the bulk of your consumer base runs out of money. If the majority of the population is left sinking, at some point they are going to turn their eyes to the people who have all the fucking money. And it goes further than just general economic policy and blocking your ability to screw them over by outsourcing and importing cheap labor. It goes further than that. Especially considering the revelations of certain files that I'm not going to mention the name of. I imagine it might not take too much more for people to push for a certain class of people to be wiped from the planet. Okay? That's the reality. You have way too many people enduring way too many hardships, and at a certain point they're not going to blame themselves for it anymore, and they're going to blame the people who have been in charge of this whole game, this whole operation, for a generation plus. Or if you really want to go back way more generations. If nothing happens, you get a depression. If the working class actually rises up and fights back, it's going to be incredibly chaotic, but you won't have a depression. This is what it is. You create structures, they generate revenue. This is how this works. Just because you are the CEO of a company does not make you a fucking messiah. It does not make you better than normal working people. All right? Just had to get that out. All right? This has been Michael from Spades Consulting. If you're interested in personal or business consulting, stop by the site www.spadesconsulting.com. If you are interested in written content, stop by the Substack, linked in the description box below and in the navigation on the site. If you appreciate the video, like, favorite, sub, share, hype, leave a comment, tell me your thoughts, and just because of the nature of it, the opinions are personal and do not represent the feelings and beliefs of Spades Consulting, LLC. You guys have a good one.